Oh my god, I need to stop. What the fuck was I talking about? Hi, very quick introduction here. This is the angle in which I'm gonna end the episode, but I forgot to say what has pissed me off this week, and that's why we're in a new angle. But I am now going to tell you what pissed me off this week. What pissed me off this week that I had to be changed out of my new studio back into my old studio for this week because we were having an MGP camp here. And it sucks that, like, why was I made to move from this studio if I'm then just gonna have to move back here for big camps? I would have rather just kept my shit in here then, because right now it's really frustrating that most of my stuff is in the other studio, but I can't go get them because people are recording and actually making songs and shit there. So now I'm kind of stuck here, and people keep walking in here because they think this is like a spare room, and I'm like, yeah, no, haha, this is me. And yeah, that kind of sucks, but can't do anything about it. And it's a very minor inconvenience. I have worked in this studio for over half a year, so I'm fine here. But it's just the principle of having to change studios. It's annoying. Anyway, that pissed me off this week. I don't know what pissed Torgeir off this week. If I had to guess what pissed Torgeir off this week, I would probably think me. I think I piss him off pretty much daily. Yeah, actually multiple times a day, I would say. Yeah, definitely multiple times a day. Anyway, this has been what pissed me off this week. Moving on to you, Lele of the past, in a different angle. Bye! Hello and welcome to What Pissed You Off This Week. As you have probably already noticed, I am not in our studio and Torgeir is not here. And that is because we are currently on an MGP songwriting camp. That is happening at our studio, but he is doing his job and I'm doing mine, which is that I look busy, basically. No, I do. I take photos and videos of the camp goers and I update our Instagram about the camp and like post every day about how cool the camp is, which is fun. But that means that this week we did not have any time to shoot an episode and we didn't have any time to shoot an episode beforehand. That has led us to yet another solo episode from What Pissed You Off This Week. This time it's my turn, and I hate that I can see myself, and also sorry about the chair, but because I can see myself, I'm gonna be posing like a motherfucker this entire episode. But anyway, we are on a songwriting camp. This is very exciting, very fun. And even though I am twice as funny as Torgeir, I have less time and I am way less imaginative when it comes to content. I have decided to instead just talk at you because actually it's kind of fun. Today marks the 1 year anniversary of me coming here to the woods. And I thought it would be fun to kind of recap this past year with you guys. When I came here to the woods, the very first thing that happened was that we went on a cabin trip. And basically, I land here, I take the train here, and everyone is asking me like, okay, are you ready for the cabin trip? And I'm like, what fucking cabin trip? Nobody told me about a cabin trip. And they were like, yeah, but it's in a group chat. Like, have you not been looking at the group chat? I'm like, what group chat? I'm not in a group chat. And it was then that they realized that no one had indeed added me to the work group chat, so I had no idea. And nobody had told me shit about a cabin trip. But yeah, I wasn't in the group chat, so I had no way of knowing that there was going to be a cabin trip that I was supposed to go to. But yeah, I just drop off my suitcase, or suitcases, and just quickly grab like some stuff to stay the night into a backpack and run to the store to buy some alcohol, and then I'm just loaded into a car and driven to a cabin in the mountains, which was so fun. It was such a fun trip. Like, it was, though inconvenient because I hadn't been informed of it, it was like a very fun way to start my time here, because I guess it made it easier to talk to everyone since everyone was like in this tiny cabin drunk. So it was way easier to just kind of break the ice and just, get to know people. And because it's also today, it's Jonas, our other boss's birthday. Happy birthday, Jonas. I know you are not watching this, but just in case you are, happy birthday. But yeah, so that was like a fun way to start. I immediately felt like a part of the team in a way. Torgeir actually wasn't on that trip, by the way. He was sick at home, and I was really sad that he didn't come to that cabin trip because he was the only person, aside from Carl, that I really new here, because even though like I had met, I think, most people like at least once or twice before that, Torgeir was the only one I like actually had kind of spoken to. But even though when I came here, like I had Torgeir's phone number, but I didn't consider us friends enough to be able to just like, I don't know, text him. We weren't friends in a way. Now we are, at least I think so. I hope so. But yeah, he wasn't on the cabin trip, but that's where I really befriended Yashu, the guy we had as the first guest on this podcast. And that was really fun. And Jörgen, he was an intern here around that time. That was really fun. And I remember I brought some Finnish vodka and Finnish chocolates to the camp, and they were a big hit. And then we were singing Tick songs, or I was screaming them. Other people were singing. And oh, very fitting that I'm wearing my Tick's merch as I'm talking about this. But yeah, that was like a really fun trip, and also like a legendary song called Hyttetud was made on that trip. But yeah, that was my start to my internship here at the Woods. And that whole first 3 months that I was here on Erasmus was very eventful. Like, a lot of things were happening. Because right after the Hyttetud, I think it was like 1 or 2 days, if that. Could have been that we came back on Thursday, and on Friday we started the first MGP camp of that year. And I'm currently on the first MGP camp of this year. This is the last day of said camp. It was like a real baptism by fire, because like I immediately went into the camp world and like having to film and make an after movie, which was something that I'd never done before. And now I've been doing that for a year, and it's been really fun. But yeah, I immediately went into that. Didn't really know anyone. I saw Torgeir finally because he was on a camp. And that was really, really exciting. And I got to immediately meet a lot of really cool people and really fun people. And songs that were made on that camp then made it to MGP, actually. And it has become kind of a meme that now at MGP camps, there are always songs written about me, in quotation marks. Just songs that have the sound Lele somehow integrated in them. Because last year it was Sula Lele Lele, Sula Lele. And this year we've had already 2 Lele songs. And I've been informed that there's going to be a third one, which is very exciting. Also, I'm very sorry about the glare of the ring light in my glasses. I have to keep it on because you're not going to be able to see my pretty little face if I turn it off. This looks atrocious, so it stays on. I'm trying to like look at the camera so that you don't see the glare as much. But anywho, now I'm rambling again. Who could have thought that I would start to ramble when I talk to myself? You know, I talk a lot on this podcast, and I talk a lot in general, but now that it's just me and my unfiltered talking, this is incredibly awkward. I don't like this at all, but it is what it is. And after the MGP camps, those took like a couple of weeks in April, we very soon had like a really cool thing called Nordic Music Celebration, which is what we have been talking about now for the past couple of weeks, because we just came back from this year's version, which was Nordic Eurovision Party. I got to work that event, which was really fun. I filmed the after movie for that as well, and I got to film backstage and like in front of the stage and everything. It was like a very cool experience because I had never done again something like that before. I feel like that has been like a very defining characteristic of my time here. Has been that I've been doing a lot of stuff that I had never done before and was a little bit terrified. And then everything turned out okay. Because I also made like the gig visuals I improved the gig visuals for Spaceman, a subwoofer track, and I made them for 2 Sub-Kids songs. No, one Sub-Kid called Fish. I made it completely from scratch, and I also really upgraded the ones for Worst Kept Secret, a subwoofer song. Or did I make that completely from scratch? I honestly don't remember. But like, I've been doing a lot of things that I thought I wouldn't know how to, and then it turns out that I do, and everything went fine. And that has been like a very encouraging, I guess, thing to experience during this time that I really, really appreciate, that I have gotten to test my knowledge of things, and I've gotten to improve a lot as a worker and a person in the media industry. And I also gotten to drive a lot of cars, which has been really fun. Like, I was also very early in my time here that Yashu and I drove some DJ equipment to Trysil and back. And that was very fun. I love driving cars. It's very fun. Except in Oslo. God damn it, I fucking hate driving in Oslo. Oslo, I hate you. I'm speaking directly to the representatives of the city of Oslo. If you're watching this, you need to fucking do something about your driving infrastructure. It sucks. I hate driving in Oslo. Fix it. Thank you. Also, this kind of a solo episode is really not for my already inflated ego because I have so much time to just look at myself right now and I look really cute. Like, how lucky are you guys to just get to observe me in your space? Oh my god, I need to stop. What the fuck was I talking about? I have no clue. My hair looks great. Anyway, well, like, and I feel like songwriting camps in general have been like a very defining experience here, or like a defining thing here during my experience here, or like during my time here. I've gotten to participate on some right now, which has been really, really fun. I've always written songs, but just never like professionally. Why was that in quotation marks? This is professionally. But like, yeah, I'd never done that professionally. I had only been writing like with my friends in our bedrooms and like performing at birthday parties and stuff like that. But it's been really fun to actually get to write here. And like Torgeir and I have mentioned, me and Selena have been writing a lot of K-pop recently, and that has been really, really fun. K-pop is super fun to write because you can like do really anything, and that's, I think, the most fun part of it. It's so versatile as a genre. You can really do anything within K-pop. And we've also discovered that I'm really, really good at rapping, like in a very low register, that Torgeir has dubbed the demon voice. And that has been really fun. And also a fun thing that I've noticed during my time here is that when I speak English, my register is significantly higher, or like I'm speaking in a higher voice, more melodic voice. Whereas when I speak Finnish, I drop a lot in my register. Like Finnish is a lot further down in my throat. And that has manifested itself in me noticing that my vocal cords aren't used to me speaking Finnish anymore. So when I speak Finnish, my vocal cords get very tired. Like when my family and I were in Oslo and I was obviously speaking Finnish to them, like my throat was hurting all the time. And I thought it was because like I was getting sick, which I also was. But like after that, I realized that it's fully just because I was using a different part of my vocal cords, or not different, but I was like using them differently in a way that they haven't been used to in a while. And that was really weird to notice. Like, I don't know, what could I say in Finnish that you guys could kind of hear it? I'll introduce myself. Moi, mun nimi on Leeni. Mä oon tällä hetkellä Renassa, mun vanhassa studiossa. Tää on aika hauskaa, aika jännää. Tältä mun ääni kuulostaa, kun mä puhun suomea. Mun mielestä se on ainakin alempana. Anyway, that was probably incredibly boring for you guys because you didn't understand it. But anyway, like, I think you can tell that my register is lower. Like, it's not like a super significant difference, but it's significant enough that I notice it when I speak it. Oh, and then one of the songwriting camps that I really liked during my time here was Song Farm. That was really fun because, like I said, I like driving cars and I like being in cars. I love sitting in a car. Like, put me on a road trip, I will thrive because I love sitting in a car. Even when I was a kid, my least favorite part when we would rent a car when we were on like a vacation in Spain or something was when we had to leave, you know? Like, if we drove somewhere and then, okay, we're here. I'm like, do we have to though? Like, I really don't want to get out of this car. I'm having a great time here. So I would always just prefer to sit in a car. I love cars. I know I don't love cars. I love sitting in cars that are moving. I love sleeping in cars. I have the best naps in cars. Now my rambling is starting to sound like Trump. Anyway, so because there was the like added excitement of going somewhere on the camp, that was really fun. And the Song Farm is in Sweden, and that was really, really fun. I got to be crew there as well, so like I got to do all kinds of things. It was really exciting. And Torgeir and I went to sleep on the last night of Song Farm at 9:45 in the morning, and we had to wake up at 11, so we both slept like an hour and 15 minutes. He was very rough the next morning, very hungover. I had to drive, and we fought for like half of the drive home about whether or not the car in front of us was yellow or not. I still stand by it being yellow. And then this is now a test as to whether or not Torgeir listens to my solo episode. It is Torgeir's fault that we, instead of driving back to Rena, almost drove all the way to Bærum. I know he will have opinions about that statement, and that will be a test as to whether or not he listens to this. I'm sure he will let you guys know in next episode whether or not he did. But yeah, we got a bit lost on our drive back. And he was also bitching to me about my driving, so then we had to switch drivers because I got so tired of it. And I think that was the first time I started acting like fully like a child and just at him, just showed my tongue. Is it stuck out my tongue? Yeah. But yeah, now this is getting really rambly. After I went home for the summer, there's a song farm was also in the summer. I went back for July, came back in August. We had really exciting guests here. We had the Sunstroke Project, and we have had Citizani here. That was really, really fun. Those guys were awesome. We made some really fun tracks with them. That was really fun. And also the most exciting thing, I have been a huge Torgeir fan, like, for years. And it has felt so strange to me to just be sitting at a breakfast table just opposite from Torgeir, because he's just like my coworker. We're having breakfast on a songwriting camp. I'm like, what is life? What is life? If you had told Lele in 2022 that he would be having breakfast opposite from Torgeir, she would have had a heart attack and died. That has been very fun. And yeah, like, I've met so many cool people during my time here. And like, there are so many things I could reminisce. And like, I know when I'm gonna edit this, there are gonna be so many things that I'm like, why didn't I say that? And I'll talk about those later. But this has already been 19 minutes and 20 seconds exactly now. Let's see how long this episode turns out, because that's how much I've recorded thus far. It feels really weird to have already been here for a year. We can actually, you know what? Let's take a quick look around the studio. I actually can't believe I didn't think of this earlier, since usually we are very stationary with our setup, but right now I'm filming this on my phone with an iRig, so I can walk around. And I will now, for those who are watching, you guys get to see our studio a little bit. Let's go. We have now arrived in the common area. This is our sign. Very cool. I don't know how I'm going to execute all of this, because it's surprisingly difficult to walk, talk, and hold a phone and a microphone at the same time and try to look normal while doing it. Turns out I can't. Let's have a look at the common area. There's kids, I'm not going to film those. But this is the space we mean when we say something that happened in a common area. That is our kitchen. These are some of the studios that we have. That is Studio 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. There are currently people in there, so I can't go there. But this is my old studio, and this is the studio that I moved into. And yeah, Torgeir is there. In Studio 1, the only room with the transparent door. And now you get to see the infamous glare into Torgeir's studio that he always complains about. When people don't come in, it's really hard to see. There is a lot of glare, but this is Torgeir's studio from a new perspective. There are people on a camp, and that is Torgeir. How exciting is that? This is me outside the studio like a lonely pleb. This is the hallway. These are Airbnb rooms that we have. There are studios 9 and 8, our boss's studios. Very, very exciting. I truly thought this would have been more eventful, but like, obviously all the studios are currently in use, so I can't go in them and just disturb them with my shit. But yeah, this has been a very quick look at our studio. I hope you liked it. So, this has been my solo episode of What Pissed You Off This Week. Alright, so thank you for listening to this week's episode of What Pissed You Off This Week. Thank you for walking down memory lane with me. This has been very fun to just ramble by myself for half an hour. Yeah, thank you for listening to What Pissed You Off This Week. If you enjoyed this episode, I hope you did. Hopefully you like our normal episodes more. Please rate and review the podcast. That helps us a lot. And please send in what pissed you off this week. We would love to hear it. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at What Pissed You Off Pod and What Pissed You Off Podcast. And you can DM us anywhere. You can comment on our things. Anything. Bye.